Hello all and welcome, and I am the Realist Philosopher, and this is the Realist Den. Always raw, always real 100% of the time. And in this video, I would like to talk about an interesting story I came across from Mail Online, a UK rag. And the title is very interesting. I think you might find this enjoyable. So, psychotherapist warns that working mothers are producing mentally ill children. I don't know why they need scientific studies to tell you this. Good Lord. The majority of people who come out of prisoners who have mental disorders, you ask them, did you grow up in a household with a single mom? They're like, yeah, how did you know? I mean, it's funny to me. Oh, geez, it's like you need scientific studies to tell you things that everybody knows these days. Do people sweat when they exercise? Let's do a study to find out. And claims the problem is at an epidemic level. I could have told you that without a study. So a leading psychotherapist has warned that mothers who return to work too soon after having babies are damaging their children's mental health. In a video for the New York Post, Erica Commissar, interesting name, revealed how much she's seen an epidemic level of mental disorders in very young children, which she puts down to the devaluing of mothering in society. What a shock! Boy, with feminism telling women you don't want to get married and you don't want to do that. No, you can be an independent woman and you can pop out kids and take care of them yourself, largely because men pay the majority of taxes and, you're able to sponge off the system. Using their money, you're indirectly getting money from men, so you still need men, right? The state just allows you to substitute the man for the state, right? And then fool yourself into thinking you're being independent and, free of his evil oppressive clutches. Meanwhile, you're harming your kids to fulfill your dream of a successful, rewarding career. Yes, if being a mother and raising the next generation of humanity wasn't rewarding enough. Yeah, I want to shuffle some papers around a desk so I don't have to listen to a man tell me to make dinner for him. Your job is so hard. He goes to work all day and all you have to do is keep the house clean and cook sometimes. Ooh, so difficult. Yeah, so oppressive. So the author of Being There, Why Prioritizing Motherhood in the First 3 Years Matters, explained that babies experience a rush of cortisol and a great deal of stress when they're away from their mothers. Yeah, of course. So lack of attachment, of course, it's going to create some issues. She argued that when working women return from work in the evenings, they spend as little as 90 minutes. 90 minutes with their babies before they put them to bed? Just think about that now. These babies only spending 90 minutes, maybe. I think that's on a good night with their mother, right? Good Lord. That's crazy. And then find that they don't sleep through the night as they're craving attention. Right. People wonder these days what you see on TV and on all these representations of motherhood on the sitcoms and TV shows. Why the baby's crying so much? Because it's not spending any time with its mother. Our society tells women to go back to work. Do what you want. They'll be okay. Nah, well... Yeah, our society. You mean other women. You mean feminism. Yeah, feminism tells them that your child will grow up perfectly okay without a daddy and without a mommy, too, because mommy's got to be off working all day and you might see your kid an hour a day, right? Oh, and of course, let's not forget the fact that you're probably not breastfeeding either. You're probably feeding that baby cow milk, right? So he's going to have a subpar IQ, which explains the drop in IQ that we've seen in the past 100, 150 years. Good Lord. White Americans used to have the highest IQs. Believe it or not, white Americans used to have on average 110 to 115 IQ if you go back 150 years. IQs had dropped sharply because women don't breastfeed anymore. They go off to work. They have nannies. They don't have a wet nurse, by the way. They just give them that formula crap that doesn't have what that kid needs to maximize his IQ. Oy vey. Oh, boy. Yeah, there's a woman with her kid. It doesn't look like late at night. I guess they just picked a stock photo. So I was seeing it in my parent guidance practice. I was actually seeing an epidemic of level of mental disorders in very young children who were being diagnosed and medicated at an earlier and earlier age. Medicated? Who medicates kids? Oh, that's right, we do these days. Yeah, we diagnose the boys with attention deficit disorder because they're in classes designed for girls, and girls just like to sit there, do nothing, just watch. Meanwhile, the boys are bebopping out of their friggin' skulls because they're bored out of their minds, because they're in a friggin' school where the education is designed for girls, not boys. And then they're seen as somehow defective girls, and then they feed them these drugs to turn them into zombies. I started looking at the research, which backed up what I was seeing in my practice. Which is that the absence of mothers on a daily basis in children's lives was impacting their mental health. But hey, I don't need no man. Well, I guess you don't if you want your kids to grow up to be basket cases. Referencing research on attachment that's been done since the 1960s, she said the only thing that reduces stress for babies is when their mothers return. Well, father would do as well, but again, they opted to be single mommies. I don't want to deal with him and his smelly feet and his farting at night. Meh. No difficulty in my life now. I don't have to sacrifice anything. Yeah. I still say daycare is my least favorite option. She said, you're taking a very young baby and exposing them to a great deal of stimulation and a great deal of fear. Right, people they don't know. Lots is going on in the environment. It would create a lot of anxiety, I would think. Not good for a baby, especially one that's developing rapidly, to introduce them into that kind of stimulus-rich environment, minus a parent to make them feel safe. When you take them out of their immediate environment and put them in a group with a lot of stimulation, a lot of people, that's not the natural environment for babies. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. If you are away from your child during the day, Erica suggested 2 key strategies in the evening to try and offset some of the damage. Why don't you just tell women to get husbands? Why don't you do that? I'm not going to tell you to do the right thing, okay? Because, then people will ostracize me and attack me ad infinitum. I'm just going to tell you how to be a more effective single mother. Yeah. Oh, boy. She says, so I'm essentially going to enable you, right? She's like giving drunks alcohol or something, right? Or I'll teach you how to be a more effective drunk. I'll teach you how to drink in a way that you won't destroy your liver so quickly, right? She said that all distractions should be put in a basket so that you don't look at phones, tablets, and gadgets while spending time with your child. Yeah, being a single mother is toxic in and of itself, and it's going to harm your child. But hey, I'm essentially going to say, whatever, go ahead and do it anyway, right? It'll be fine just as long as you follow my system. And she said that mothers should keep their babies up later in the evenings instead of coming home at 6 and putting them to bed at 7:30. Oh, boy. Let them stay up much later, she advised. 90 minutes a day is not enough to provide children with emotional security, regulate their emotions, and buffer them from stress. Okay, so instead of 90 minutes with the baby, they might get to spend 3 whole hours instead of the 16 they would have spent with the child before if they were actually a woman at home and their husband was working. Wow, yeah, that's a real good strategy there, lady. Yeah. Far from ideal, okay? Erica, why don't you just put down single motherhood? Why don't you be a good therapist? Of course you can't be a good therapist, right? Right? Clearly isn't one. Erica did not put the blame on women. Of course you didn't. Of course not. Because you're a wayman yourself. You're not going to betray your own. You want to sell books for feeling forced to return to work. Arguing that the role of motherhood is not valued by society. That's because of waymen like you enabling this kind of crap, even though you're supposed to know better. The ideal maternity leave would be 1 year of fully paid leave for all women of all backgrounds. Yeah, she's a feminist herself. Of course she doesn't knock it. Of course she doesn't knock being a single mother. A year! Oh, that's great. But the wayman is oppressed. The wayman isn't treated equally. You're goddamn right she's not treated equally. She's treated much better. When is a man going to get a year of paid leave? Okay? Jeez. Waymen talking about they're not paid on par with men. Why don't you try not doing things like taking a year off work and expecting the same pay? Or working flex time or part-time, all that, or not working overtime as much as the man does. Men do all these things and more. That's why they make more money, and they choose careers that pay more. Meanwhile, you ladies are becoming school teachers, and you wonder why you're not making as much money as a man who chose to be an engineer. When we give mothers the option of being home in the first 3 years, we increase the emotional security and reduce mental disorders. We can't have that. Not too much anyway, because if we reduce them too much, then you'll be out of a job, right, lady? On a societal level, we need to recognize mothers' work is valuable work, but not enough, right? See, not valuable enough for you to counsel women to go and find a husband, right? We emphasize material success and professional achievement, but there is no more valuable or more important work. She's trying to have it both ways. Ride the fence. Get the feminist broads as well as broads that want to be mothers. Of course, they're mostly going to be single mothers anyway, right? Because you don't need no man. Oh, boy. And of course, you got a picture of a book there. So, this article, by the way, it doesn't even begin to scratch the surface because it's only addressing the damage done by lack of attachment in a child's early years. It doesn't even address the dysfunction that occurs when these kids grow up and see the bad example set by their mother. You know, the majority of girls out there who are single mothers, their mothers were also single mothers. These women make bad decisions. And the way that they talk about men, and the way that they raise male children. I mean, she's only addressing a very small part of the problem, right? The fact that there's no parent there in the child's formative years so that the child can form healthy attachments to other people, which might have something to do with why women these days have a very difficult time forming emotional bonds with men. I mean that and the fact that they have sex with so many men that they can't pair bond. There's that, of course, and the fact that their mothers, being single mothers, generally speaking, are going to hate men and constantly be trashing men. There's that, of course. So you combine all these things and, oh boy, talk about the level of dysfunction being off the chart. Geez, I mean, if these kids not having any attachment with a parent in any real meaningful way in the first 3 years are causing this many problems, just imagine. Of course, you don't need to imagine. All you need to do is look at the prisons. They're loaded up with the kids of single mothers. The very few studies that have been done with single fathers, there's so few, by the way, but there have been some studies done, show that the children of single fathers, they actually end up the same as kids that come out of stable two-parent households. Interesting. Meanwhile, the kids that come out of single mother households tend to be basket cases. Very interesting. Of course, this will have no effect on single motherhood, right? You've got women like this psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever this quack is, essentially enabling such women, right? Telling them what they want to hear. Oh, I'm going to continue to emphasize career success. I just want you to know that being a mother is the most important thing. Now you go back to work, right? Yeah. Why does she stay home? Oh, she can't. There's no man to pay the bills, but she don't need no man, right? Of course, if she had a man, her child wouldn't be mentally ill and go shooting up schools. But that's toxic masculinity's fault. That has nothing to do with the fact that there's no man there to teach that boy how to be a man. Oh, no. And all these school shootings and mass shootings and all this couldn't be misplaced anger. And an attachment disorder, and some other stuff that's brewing under the surface because this kid had no male role model, nobody to teach him how to channel his energies. No, couldn't be any of that. No, men are just toxic. Anyhow, I thought you might find that interesting that some psychotherapist, not even a real doctor, right? Aren't psychotherapists are just talk, right? Babble talk doctors, they're, talk therapy. Come in and tell me your problems. I could get a Kermit the Frog doll and sit it here, and it would do the same job as this broad. But for free. Psychotherapist, please. Talk therapy. Just talk to yourself, for God's sake. Talk to your teacup. It's the same freaking thing. If you talk out your problems, you get it out. Yeah, okay. Sure. I can talk to my phone, okay? With nobody on the other end and spill my guts out. Same difference. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I am the Realist Philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.